Welcome home, Bitcoin Truth Seekers. It is 1 p.m., September 5th. It's Monday, year 2022, here in the Arizona desert. So check it out. Welcome home, Bitcoin Truth Seekers. It's a good day. Let me actually post this one spot that I had not posted just in case. All right, there we go. All right. Sorry to start once again. Welcome home, Bitcoin Truth Seekers. It is Monday, Labor Day, September 5th, 2022. Let's look at the market. I'm surprised. It was a bit low volume yesterday, but today we've seen volume picking up, and it's not looking too bad. Some alts are definitely making a move, so we will look at that. Let's rock through this real quick. As always, BitcoinDailyView.com got more for you there. Some quick news along the way as we get started. I found this article just funny. Bed Bath & Beyond mourns a loss. After an extremely volatile couple of weeks for Bed Bath & Beyond, the company is dealing with the tragic news of its CFO passing over the weekend. And I had to giggle about this. I'm like, do you really think anybody who works at Bed Bath & Beyond gives a shit about the CEO, but the CFO jumping out of a window? I just think this kind of shows the the egomania of the executive class. I mean, dude, no one gives a shit. I don't. Whatever. You were a billionaire, you lived a great life, you jumped out a window because who cares? Anyway, with that said, according to the UN, these are the top countries by crypto ownership as a percentage of the population. Well, looking at this, the thing that gets me is I don't know how the UN would know. I think this is a little bit high tech for them. They're more like the old. I still use a BlackBerry because I like to click your keyboard. I don't really see them being this high tech to even know. But numbers are fun. Measurements of any kind can have value. So, number one, Ukraine. Number two, Russia. Interesting. Number three, Venezuela. I can't say it. Number four, Singapore. Number five, Kenya. Number six, USA. Number seven, India. Number eight, South Africa. That's a big landmass there. Which countries in South Africa? Number three, Nigeria, and number nine, Nigeria, number 10, Colombia. So it's interesting. I just don't quite see how they would know, especially when you look at the population. Like a lot more people in the U.S., I think, than in Ukraine. Anyway, according to the UN, these are the top countries by crypto ownership as a percentage of population. Okay, as a percentage of population. Interesting. All right, now that I read it and actually understand it before I start talking about it more thoroughly, there you go. I didn't quite catch this last part of the sentence, which is right in front of me. Anyway, interesting. Really, really interesting. And interesting comments about it, too. For fun, I will copy link to tweet. I'm going to put this in the live chat. That's where I stick these things. So it's in the live chat if you so desire to check it out. All right, now let's keep moving. This is interesting too. I like this. Bank of Russia now legalizing crypto for cross-border payments. Bullish or bearish for Bitcoin? I personally think that is bullish myself. We don't know what they'll use. It could be XRP. It could be who knows what. Monero. You know what I mean? Very, very interesting. So who knows what they're going to use? But I like it. My guess is probably the big ones, Bitcoin and or Ethereum, Dash, maybe. I'd be very surprised if it was XRP or something like that. Probably something that cannot be regulated by a central authority. So Bitcoin sounds like it to me. And really for these cross-border transactions, especially when they're big, from what I understand from people who have been involved in doing that, they've told me that usually you're making your transactions very fast. So you're, in effect, you oftentimes will have exchanges kind of from like over-the-counter trading where the exchange will put it to crypto, move it to another exchange, and then turn it back to another stable coin or some form of currency where that exchange can do it. So maybe if you were buying something from Russia, not saying to do this, I'm just saying and it was expensive, you'd have an exchange quickly converting to Bitcoin, making the transaction to an exchange where it can be to trade it back to ruble or something like that, just for instance. And that would happen in kind of optimized chunks, like if you were doing like $1 billion or something like that, it would happen very quickly so that the volatility of the Bitcoin price would not really come into play. Anyway, with that said, because I'm not really sure, Bank of Russia legalizing crypto for cross-border payments, I imagine that there'd be a lot of eyes on that, especially between who it's to and from. Like, imagine if it was between like Russia and Iran or something like that. Would have to be, like I say, a blockchain that the man could not mess with. And anyway, things get interesting. This is a spicy thing. I cannot tell if it's true or not, but Dan Held, I followed him for a while. In general, he is legit and doesn't post things that are nonsense. So this is interesting to me. I think we're going to see this maybe happen. Maybe this is real. I'm going to keep following this and see if it evolves. I'll put it in the live chat so you can check it out if you would like. And I'll also, if you do follow me, which would not hurt if you so desire, I'll retweet this. Just look for Radiant. I know it should be Bitcoin Daily View, but I use my Radiant Creators Twitter for this stuff. Just look for @Radiant Creator. Follow me there, and you get to see all the crazy stuff that I'm posting and saying and things like that. You can take a guess at what lists I'm probably on. All right, so trading volume today, basically 5 billion in trading volume. Not bad for a holiday after a weekend. Not bad at all. So not bad trading volume. Bitcoin trading volume explicitly that we're looking at here. Now, this really impressed me today. This was not so earlier today. It's 1:06 in the afternoon here in the Arizona desert. So like, I don't know, 9 o'clock this morning, I think maybe I saw this start, or maybe a bit earlier. But in general, all the exchanges are in the green, and some are massive. Like last 24 hours, Kraken up 135%. Look at like FTX US up 154%. Binance up just 41%. Old man Binance, FTX, just FTX, not FTX US, up 50%. Coinbase, grandma's exchange, grandma's logged in via AOL, buying herself some crypto, up 44%. So we have some massive numbers here. I really like it. I got to go check out one of my favorite little exchanges. Yeah, little Bittrex out of Seattle, up 20%. And of course, Mexi, an up-and-coming exchange, up 30%. Crypto.com, where you get the Crypto.com card. Go over to bitcoindailyview.com, scroll down, get yourself a Crypto.com card. Use my affiliate link. You'll be glad you did. It's up 1.8%. Not financial advice. I just think you'll have an overwhelming feeling of happiness if you get it. And then I'll get a little bit of commission money, and that'll make me happy. Everybody wins, especially me, honestly. So anyway, looking at Bitcoin right now, 19,735. It's very interesting how it's been hanging out right below 20,000, all day. That's interesting. I like seeing that because it probably, well, I shouldn't say I like seeing it, but definitely it's been held in a very, very tight range. We're going to look at that shortly. Some interesting things I see as far as the volume of money coming in and out. Okay, so Ethereum Classic today doing incredible. I don't know what Ethereum Classic is even for, but I do believe that it has been pumping and making some gains recently on and off. I think maybe to do with the Ethereum upgrade. Like I say, if anyone knows what Ethereum Classic is even used for, let me know. I've always kind of been curious what it is. I actually mined it for a while, and it was really profitable, and it made me some nice change, honestly. Bitcoin Cash, BCH, whatever. I don't really touch that one. DeFi chain, interesting. DFI, it's up about 12%. I like that. If you're a person who looks at token metrics, they said that this would be a good player today early. Anyway, looking at everything else, I don't really see anybody who's really a big player other than that. EOS up 3%. I like to see that one do well. All right, so let's keep rocking. Let's look at Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin on a 15-minute chart, you can really see here, it's just kind of doing not much. The thing is that really what you want to see to start getting happy is where you get a break above or you get a break below like the 15-minute 200 moving average here. That tends to be a sign of things to come. But really all day we've just been kind of hanging out like this. Just nothing really exciting happening. Bitcoin kind of started to make a move earlier. You can see the blue diamond merit badge in the 15-minute chart, but it didn't keep it. And anyway, Bitcoin, and looking at the indicators here, Bitcoin just basically sideways, 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 sideways today. But some alts are definitely not sideways. So if we look at Bitcoin on the 45-minute chart, sorry about that. Bitcoin on the 45-minute chart, looking at that, you can see that it has challenged the 200 moving average today once, almost twice with the wick, but basically it's just hanging out. You really can see the sideways action. I think one of the things that we're seeing really is this is definitely what I consider whale sideways hold pattern. You can kind of see these little bursts of institutional money coming in, probably here in the yellow, and so that pumped it, and then correspondingly dumped it, and it's just been sideways. And see these little yellow bursts. That's most likely. You can correspond to the chart. You can see what's happening. I think that institutional money is keeping it just nice and tight and sideways right now for probably something to happen on Tuesday morning when the market opens. So I'm kind of expecting something to happen. Also, as you can see here, as I mentioned before, here's the institutional money coming in right here. This is not buy or sell. This is just volume, okay? 4-hour chart shows it very, very well. Big volume right here. As you can see, boom, it dumped it. You can kind of see these little volume spikes. You can see how the price kind of corresponds to them. And it really looks to me like the big guys are holding it sideways. And if you look at the 4-hour chart, you can kind of see once again. And if you were like the big money doing these little bumps here, you would know to be selling up here, up top, and buying on the bottom. So I think that basically the big money is keeping it sideways and making their gains. And there you go. So Bitcoin boring sideways, trapped by the big money, institutional money, I think personally, over this long weekend. But looking at ETC versus USDT, whatever ETC is for, I have no idea. These purple candles you see here are known as candles by Sam. You can see them over at Bitcoin Daily View. I linked to them there. So we have some serious purple candles or kind of blue candles. That's 3 candles in a row with perfect upwards velocity. So boom, boom, boom. We had it. We went up to 4, then 5 of them. Little dump. Now we have 3 in a row once again. This red moving average, here's the 8 moving average. We got kind of far away from it. And as always, we came back to it. It's a 4-hour, 45-minute chart. And as you can see, look at this massive amount of, most likely, I'm just going to say, I think institutional money. I think big players are pushing this thing up. What I would note about this, what I'm kind of watching for is, let's say this thing goes sideways. Let's actually do a fib retracement. It's actually one thing. You can see the big money, especially with the 4-hour chart. Oh, this is very interesting. This is massive. 4-hour chart. You see the big institutional money come in. Boom, what did it do? Right past the 314. There's a big gap here between the 314 and the 200. Big deal. Usually you won't see a blue diamond merit badge when that when they're far from each other. So when the 314 moving average went above the 200 moving average, look at this massive Darth Maul doji right there, wiping all the longs and shorts out, if there were any, with some serious volume. And now we're kind of holding a green doji above the 200 moving average, the white moving average there. So let's watch this thing and see what happens. I do think when the institutions make pushes like this, they don't want to lose that, so they're probably going to keep it there. Just kind of like here, you can see some nice institutional money way back here. They dumped it. It kind of went sideways. Not much happened. Boom. They started to move up. They dumped it again. Boom. So as you can see, the institution, I believe, allegedly, the institutional money has been kind of wanting to keep it right in here, probably. And they have been. Whenever it gets out of hand, they just bump it where they want it. So anyway, let's just see. They strategically, rather perfectly, got it above the 200 moving average here on the. Oh, what did I do? Crud. That was wild. Anyway, boom, and go back to 4 hours. So as you can see, let's watch this thing and see what happens. I think if we can, this chart's not looking bad. Directional index is green. ADX is in the right spot here at around 15. Let's wait for it to get about 20. The squeeze indicator's looking good. Binary candles looking good. KRI is looking good. Stochastic RSI does show overbought right now, and that's kind of to be expected. So let's watch this one. I think if it can hold support above the 200 moving average, it will probably continue up, and maybe I will hop in at that point. It's definitely interesting. So maybe the watch this one for Monday, see what happens. Also, You could do a fib retracement here if it starts to come down very much, but I think really it's either going to keep this 200 moving average and continue moving up, or it ain't. If you wanted to be really, really daring, not financial advice, you could put a long in right now and just put a stop loss right below this 200 moving average, because it's either going to keep it or it ain't. It's either going to move up or it ain't. To me, usually when the whales put this kind of money in, they want to keep it where they put it. DeFi versus USDT. Interesting what's going on here. This is the thing. Who cares what Bitcoin's doing if it's a bull or a bear market? It doesn't matter. Look at this. There's always money to be made, and you can always short if you want. I myself am more of a longer. But look at this beautiful chart. These beautiful Sam's candles here showing this nice upwards progressions. This is looking wonderful. It's not too far from the moving 8. It's kind of going sideways right now. But look at this institutional money that it's been dumping into this thing. Let's look at a 4-hour chart to really, really see that clearly. All right. Yeah, look at that. You can just see, boom, institutional money putting it right where they want it, making it move when they want it. And right now they want it to move up. So this is very, very extended. We are above the 200 and the 314. It's looking strong. We're kind of far from, if you look at the 4-hour chart, the moving 8. I'd wait to return to the moving 8 on the 4-hour chart before I got in. This is just kind of, I don't like to catch things when they're kind of mooning like this. This is just insane. I don't know why DeFi is cranking like this, but it's a nice, beautiful upwards move. I mean, I like it. You could actually, you could kind of draw. No, you can't quite get it out. You could make an upwards channel if you want, but this thing is just really cranking. So let's watch this one on the 45-minute chart. It's atoned with the 8 moving average. Maybe it'll continue up. Right now, I am seeing Sky shows overbought. KRI starting to dip. Great indicators, but this guy's pumped pretty hard. I'm gonna wait for a retrace a little bit and see if this guy continues up. Very excited about ATC. As you can see right there, we're starting to move up in the 4-hour chart above this 200 moving average. I really am for real probably going to put a trade in with a stop loss right below the 200 moving average and see if this guy continues up. But I'm a little bit conservative. I'm kind of wanting to see what happens when the market opens on Tuesday. Lun C. A great coin. I like what this thing is doing. Check it out. It's been keeping above the 200 moving average from the 45-minute chart for quite a while. I could look at a 4-hour chart if we really want to see the if institutional money has been coming in. You can see it definitely has. I think it's been pushing it up. So Lun C is insane right now. I'm going to wait for a return back to the 200 moving average on the 4-hour chart here. I'm sorry. I'm waiting for a return back to the 8 moving average here on the 4-hour chart before I hop in. This guy's a little bit too extended. As you can kind of see here, when you get above that 200 moving that 8 moving average and you stay too long, you're going to end up coming back to it eventually, like you can see right there where it did. So that probably was not very elegant the way I drew that, but you get the idea. The red line here is the 8 moving average. You're always going to return to it. So it's kind of pumped past it. I'm going to wait. I'm kind of waiting in general for a little bit of a retrace on all these things. There's been a lot of push. But the 45-minute chart is nice and tight with that 8 moving average. So who knows? This is a good looking chart. And here the Scar size being to turn back up. So Terra Classic, woo! If you got the nerve, maybe not a bad one to get into right now. I kind of overall looking at this, I like what I'm seeing. There you go, Flux. I love this coin because it has. I do believe it has a relationship. It's with NVIDIA. It's going to be used for some future projects. Definitely pumped today. It definitely gave a lot back. This is a 15-minute chart, so this one's definitely losing some velocity. And that's kind of why I'm holding off on these other ones that I've been looking at. I think we're going to see a little bit of a loss in velocity tonight, and maybe a better time to get into a position, or better yet, wait for the retrace loss of velocity, wait for the move back up, and then hop in, which I think might literally, the decisive moment might be, I think, when the market's open tomorrow. All right, looking at Flux USD. Here on the 45-minute chart, you can see beautiful pump up. Now we're giving some back. Maybe we're finding support there. And where are we finding it? Right there on the 8 moving average. You're always seeing, you know what I mean? It's kind of like Icarus. Fly too high from that moving average, and you're going to get pulled right back to it. Now maybe it's found support and it's looking good. Definitely, I think let's check for institutional money here on the 4-hour chart. Good place to see it. I think we definitely had some institutional money come in and push this. Let's watch and see what happens. My guess is it will return to the 8 moving average on the 4-hour chart. And that will be a good bounce time to hop back in. In general, the 4-hour chart looks nice and strong. Looking at the 45-minute chart, looks like we're getting ready for a retrace on this shorter time frame. So let's see what happens. I myself, I'm just going to wait for all these. I'm watching ETC, I'm watching DeFi, I'm watching Luncy, watching Flux, and DeFi is DFI. One thing about ETC, though, we are making this nice move off the 4-hour 200 moving average. That's kind of interesting. Let's drill down to the 45-minute once again. How's that looking? Oh, we're back to the moving 8. We're still a little bit oversold, overbought here. I'm going to give it some time. Kind of waiting for either later tonight or more likely I might just chill and let the market open tomorrow, get a grasp on things and be ready to get in these if all looks good. Okay, what else? Oh, on my podcast, Rating Creators, I chatted with for just slightly over 2 hours, Jeff Harmon, Ancient Wisdom for Modern Times. This was really, really fun. We talked about a lot of great stuff. If you are an eclectically minded person, please do tune in. I think you'll really like it. Oh, I do see somebody. Yes, it's bullish news. Eke James on the, I believe on the Russia bank approving crypto for cross-border stuff for cross-border transactions. Eke James says, yes, it's bullish news. Well, I agree. Let me see here. He asked, are you sure U.S. will not sanction the crypto asset they will be using? You know what? It's a really good point. They very well may. That's why I think that this is really truly interesting news. I really think it is. Because the ruble, and we all know about the proxy war in Ukraine going on right now, between like basically good versus evil and globalism versus nationalism. So yeah, I think that's what I'm very curious to see what they actually used, because it's gonna the Eye of Sauron will be on it, guaranteed. And you mentioned it's a programmable blockchain. I'm not sure which one that is that you're mentioning, but yes, it probably is. Oh, okay. Anyway, guys, let me actually rock out right here, and let's do something real quick. Sit for fun before we get out of here. Let's just look at one thing, because we are. Let's look at the ruble versus USD. I'm going to go to a daily chart. Get rid of all this hoopla here, and I think we can see a lot going on. So this is something I've been working with for a while, and I've kind of stopped updating events on it because I think the major ones really have kind of passed for the moment. But basically, the ruble, as you can see, when the conflict started, it dumped hardcore. Then I was wanting to buy it down here at the bottom when I started to kind of reverse, which I could have, but with sanctions and such, I could not buy rubles with USD to save my ass. So anyway, it's cranked up. And if you look really since the bottom, forecast since the bottom, where is it at this very moment? 175 days later, it's up 122%. That's friggin' massive. That really is. So the ruble is doing just fine. This is very, very powerful. Ruble versus USD. This is awesome. And I would say that the thing is this is just wonderful. This is extreme. So really, I won't belabor this because I'm just kind of babbling. But if you're privy to these things, if you're following what's going on in the media, then I think you're going to know that this is a big deal. This is and Russia's it's better off than it was before the conflict started, and it's holding a powerful sideways with some serious volatility. Right now, it is below the 50 moving average, the green moving average, but it is in the 20 moving average, 20 WMA. But it is well above the 200 moving average. So in general, it's healthy. It crossed back above the 200 moving average, and it wasn't above the 200 moving average before all this started. It crossed that back on 25th of April, 2022. So anyway, pretty powerful stuff going on. I will take this, and I will copy a link to the chart image, and I will put that in the live chat if anybody so desires to check that out closer. So with that said, I'm going to wrap this up with this public service announcement. Do you know anyone who has died of what? Smack. I barely know anyone who is truly alive. Well, that's my wish for you, Bitcoin truth seekers. Every Satoshi you own is definitely a punch in the left globalist balls. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So you make a difference. You matter. Regardless of any cynicism we might hear out there, Bitcoin is part of humanity's brilliant, beautiful future. And every Satoshi you own is truly fighting and destroying evil. So take care. You matter. Stack those sats and chill. And I'll see you guys Tuesday.